All right, I am going to make a spaghetti squash meat lasagna casserole. This is my very first time making this. A friend of mine had made it for me and shared the recipe with me, but I have not yet tried it myself. So it is a recipe from Low Carb Yum. So this is a whole spaghetti squash that I cut in half and roasted last night, and then scraped it out. So I cut it in half, and actually Reggie cut it in half because it was really hard to cut in half, and then I scooped out all the seeds and stuff. For those of you who don't know how to make spaghetti squash, because I did not, and I had to watch a video on it, and then you drizzle it with olive oil and some salt and pepper, and then I roasted it at 400 for about 40 minutes, and then scooped it all out, and this is what I have. So it's now just on a paper towel. It said to drain it, which I did not do, so I'm doing that now. So we got a little bit of moisture. I've got a cup of mozzarella cheese, half a cup of Parmesan cheese. It's going to take a cup and a half of ricotta cheese. I just ground a pound of ground beef. Takes an egg. I think it's a cup and a half of sugar-free marinara or pasta or spaghetti sauce or whatever you call it. I've not bought this or had any of this kind of stuff in so long, so I'm hoping it will agree with me. And then it does say to cook it in a 9-inch pan, but I only have an 8-inch, or I only have this or an 8-inch pan, and I don't think the 8-inch pan will hold all my spaghetti squash, so I'm just going to go ahead and make it in this. And it makes 6 servings. So I'm going to start putting this baby together. All right, so my oven is preheating to 350. It's heating up pretty quick. It's already at 317. I am going to go ahead and spray the bottom of my pan, as usual, with my olive oil cooking spray. Actually, you'd be impressed. This one's a little bit cleaner than my other one. So it says to layer the drained spaghetti in the pan. Oopsie, causing a mess here. So I'm going to basically just put my spaghetti squash. I hope it works. Oh my gosh, it is actually really wet. So I'm going to just kind of dump it in there. It actually makes a lot of spaghetti squash. I'm glad I put it in this bigger pan because it would not fit in the smaller one at all. So I'm guessing I had... It said to do a medium-sized spaghetti squash, so it looks like I kind of had a bigger one. But got this much spaghetti squash. It's going to be tasty. And now I need to mix the ricotta, Parmesan, and egg. And then you put this on top of the squash. And then you're going to top that with meat. So I've got my egg, my Parmesan, and then my ricotta, which is 1.5 cups of ricotta. So I'm going to use just my, oh, there goes my oven. I'm going to use my half cup. I did salt the meat while I was making it because I feel like I'm going to want this a little bit saltier. So I'm just using my half cup measuring cup and do it 3 times, and that will give me a cup and a half. And then some. I'm always a little generous with my ingredients. So it's been a great day. It started off like super rainy and cloudy, and then it's like 75 degrees now. It's so nice out. It's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna mix this up. Kind of weird, but anyway, like I said, it's just egg and cheese on top of that squash, so it does look good. Anything's good with ricotta cheese, right? And then add some Parmesan in there. It's going to be delicious. So this mixes up pretty nice. And then you put that mozzarella on there too. That's going to be really good. Yeah, I guess I salted the squash too when I was roasting it, so should have a little bit of salt. I'll probably end up having to add a little bit of salt. So the macros in this casserole are a little lower in fat than I would like. But the calories are pretty low, which is good. So I would probably have this as part of my lunch, and then definitely do like an avocado with it, and then maybe like a little bit of sausage or something, maybe some macadamia nuts or something. So that's what this looks like, and I'm going to scoop this on top of this. I can definitely see the lasagna kind of resemblance. I'm just going to kind of scoop it on there just to layer it on there. We'll spread it on top. So I will just spread it after I scoop it. Yeah, this is probably going to be... I remember, like I said, my friend had made this for me back when I lived in Arizona. Actually, it was the music teacher at my old school who introduced me to keto. I remember, like, yeah, I was at the height of my inflammation with my arthritis, and then also just kind of eating too much sugar. I definitely was like, oh my gosh, like my sweet tooth's out of control. Like I would eat so well, and then I would just have like pretty much like binges of like, I would just want to eat sugar all day. And so I was like, I need to stop doing this. And then she was on keto and telling me about that. So she was the one who introduced me to it, and then her and I used to share recipes all the time. I miss that. We used to make stuff on the weekend. We both loved to cook, and so she would make stuff, and then I would make stuff, and we would just end up bringing each other like a little cooler bag every Monday with all the treats and casseroles and stuff we had made. So she made this one, and I remember thinking it was so good, but I was very intimidated by making spaghetti squash. So, and now so I've got my spaghetti squash layer. It's looking pretty full. Hopefully it'll all fit. But anyway, I've got my spaghetti squash, and then I've got the ricotta, Parmesan, and egg mixture. And now I'm going to top it with the delicious ground beef, which, to be honest, I kind of wish I had done a little bit more ground beef. It just calls for a pound. You can either use ground beef or ground sausage. Next time I might use sausage and add a little more fat, which I would like, but this will be good. I had the ground beef, so I decided to cook it up. Yeah, we went to Sam's today, and they were all out of 80/20 ground beef. So that was on my list. I didn't get it. So I bought the tube yesterday at Sam's. No, not at Sam's, at Walmart. So I had 3 pounds of ground beef. So I used a pound here. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so I got the ground beef layered on there. Yeah. And now a 1.5 cups of the spaghetti sauce. So I'm going to just, no I did, it's fine. I'm going to use the 1/2 cupper again. Oh my gosh, it smells like I haven't had anything with pasta or spaghetti, so I don't even know what it's called. Marinara sauce, is that what you call this? I haven't had anything with this on it in I don't actually, probably since my friend made me this, and that was like 2.5 years ago, so I haven't had anything with this on there. But I did buy, like I said, the Rouse. This one seems to be the best that I could find, so I'm hoping, like I said, it'll be okay. I think it will be. It has, the ingredients are all good. It doesn't have anything weird in it. Yeah, and the macros are all pretty, they're not awful. Not for what I'm having anyway, so. Because when you think you're using 1.5 cups, right, but you'll only end up, you don't eat the whole 1.5 cups in one serving, right? So I'm going to just use that same spoon that I use for the ricotta cheese. Spread that. Okay, yeah, this is looking pretty awesome. It took a little bit of prep with that spaghetti squash, but not bad. Like I said, I did that last night because I was kind of in the mood. So I'm glad I did. I think it's better to do it the night before or the day before, and then you're not so overwhelmed with having to make something. And then you top it with the mozzarella cheese. And it looks like I'll bake it at 350. That was super easy and fast. Bake it at 350 for 25 minutes. About 25 minutes it says. And then 6 servings. And it says here, and I will send the link or add the link to the recipe because I'm not going to take credit for it. It was from Low Carb Yum. Man, I love all of her recipes. They're really, really good. It has 317 calories, and it looks like it has about 23 grams of fat, so it's pretty good. And then like about 5 carbs, 5 net carbs, and 21 grams of protein. So yeah, it's the fat and protein are a little bit close, but it's okay. All right, so that looks pretty fabulous. So I am going to pop this baby into my preheated oven, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. I ended up baking this for a little closer to 30 minutes, actually 35 minutes, because it didn't look like the cheese was melting, but I think it looks good now. So I will be trying some probably tomorrow for my lunch.